This is a podcast sponsored by To Enlighten Research. I'm Sara Siqueira. Amanda and I will continue talking about how to provide feedback to students' tasks. Welcome, Amanda.
Hi, Sarah. It's wonderful to be back.
Well, Amanda, as we discussed in the previous podcast, providing feedback can be challenging in several senses. First, because it needs to be assertive, and second, because in some situations the giver provides feedback different from what the receiver wants to receive.
Yes, Sarah. It is stated that feedback can be provided as an appreciation or as an evaluation or a coaching. As a quick example, during an assignment correction, a teacher can congratulate the student telling him or her that he or she did a great work so far, as an appreciation. Or the teacher can advise the students, guiding them in a better way to do the assignment, as a coaching. And also the teacher can provide feedback evaluating the students, showing where the students stand.
Indeed, Amanda. Here, the several feedback techniques previously discussed can be applied. It is known that Aristotle was recognized to be more than a teacher, but also a mentor and a protector. I kind of think teachers must assume this entire role. Moreover, the teacher's efforts must focus on student-centered learning. The weekly assignments corrections feedback in a virtual learning context helps to let students be informed of their ongoing progress, as well as it can stimulate students' reflections and positive changes. It is a place for mentoring students to enlighten their learning pathway during the course, to praise their efforts, but also to point out any mistake or misinterpretation in the task. It is also extremely important to make students aware of their mistakes, because otherwise students will carry a previous mistake further and it can compromise their knowledge. So, timeline feedback plays a critical role.
Very good, Sarah. Understanding students' misconception is pivotal to the success of learning, as it enables the teachers to properly guide their students. As feedback starts with learning intentions, allowing the students to understand their own mistakes seems to be powerful for their learning process. Of course, this is also an opportunity to establish a safe space for the students, so it is desirable that we respect their process and appreciate their efforts in providing an answer. When giving negative feedback, it is important to highlight that the goal is to keep students to understand learning assessments and help them. In addition, it needs to be done respectfully and avoiding depreciative criticism. Some authors suggest that less is more, which means that it is important to not list all weaknesses points at the same time. Rather, it is desirable to select the most important points to make comments and then address the other elements in another opportunity.
Exactly, Amanda. It is also essential to let students know what is expected that they need to learn in the assignment. Important to mention that writing feedback needs to be clear to not be confusing. For instance, if you encourage a student to be more confident in a vague contest, it is necessary to clarify what that means. To be more confident can be interpreted in several ways, like giving an idea that students know things when they don't know, or to mention that students need to be confident enough to also recognize when they don't know something and need to ask for help. Therefore, it's necessary to specify what the teacher is intending with the feedback. For instance, making students understand that the teacher suggests a student to be more confident to put their answers in their own words instead of just quoting others' words.
Indeed, Sarah. Talking a little bit about evaluation feedback, I must confess that I don't like to use this approach comparing a student's weekly activities. For instance, in week 1, the student made an outstanding assignment. However, in week 2, the student did not show the same outstanding performance. Commenting on the student's performance week by week as a comparison between weeks can let students view it as depreciative. Therefore, it is essential to keep motivating students to do great work and to guide them in order to achieve it without comparisons.
You are right, Amanda. It is possible to show where students stand without making weekly comparisons. Moreover, it is fundamental to know if students are facing any issues, and here building connections is essential to gain their trust, to better know the students and their moments while doing the assignments, and to provide fair feedback and grades. In addition, being available can help to overcome barriers. It is known that the one who is giving feedback can trigger students' reactions to the feedback. Therefore, what students think about their teachers and how they feel teachers treat them are taken into account when following feedback's comments.
Exactly, Sarah. I also believe that in case of confused answers, instead of providing a quick feedback considering the answer wrong or incomplete, perhaps a good strategy is to ask students to tell more about what they understand in this regard, and then teachers provide the feedback. Sometimes a student can write wrong or incomplete answers because they didn't get the point of the question. However, once they comprehend it, the answer develops accordingly.
Wonderful thoughts, Amanda. There are several purposes of assignments corrections feedback, such as to identify and correct gaps and mistakes, to stimulate students to keep studying, to make students reflect in their understanding, to help students to develop or improve their knowledge. Another challenge is to make students read and follow the feedback comments. To achieve this goal, I believe teachers should ask students what they have learned regarding the provided feedback. It is the teacher's role to awaken students to their learning process, so students can identify what and how they are learning, as well as what they need to improve. A feedback without achieving its goal is not of use.
Perfect, Sarah. Each feedback methodology for providing feedback when correcting task or exam has advantages and disadvantages. Therefore, teachers should get the strengths of each of them to use while giving their feedbacks.
Yeah, Amanda. As we have mentioned before, we like the constructive approach and the radical candor concept because it is essential to have the ability to both care personally in a genuine way and to challenge directly when it is intended to improve knowledge.
Wonderful, Sarah. Some authors suggest that providing effective feedback is the ability to answer three questions: where students are going, which means the goals, how students are going, and where are the next steps. These questions need to achieve four levels, such as the task level, the process level, self-regulation level, and self-level. The task level evaluates the student's understanding and performance in the specific assignment. The process level evaluates the necessary process to understand and perform the assignment. Now, the self-regulation level means the student's ability to apply what they are learning during the process and also from the feedback. Last, the self level means the feedback regarding the student as a self and not only as an assignment performance. For instance, you are a good student and that was a great answer. Congrats. Here, I would also like to mention that I am more prone to praise the student's work rather than focusing on self levels, in line with lessons from Professors Black and William, as I have mentioned previously.
I totally agree, Amanda. Assignment correction feedback is powerful to strengthen and sustain continuum learning. And quoting Gary Francione, in order to be a teacher, you've got to be a student first. So let's finish this amazing episode remembering that the power of education is to keep learning. Thank you, Amanda, and thank you everyone for listening.